There was a man who did everything right. 6-figure salary, corner office, beautiful apartment overlooking the city. He had the car, the wardrobe, the gym membership, the dating apps filled with matches. Every morning he'd scroll through motivational quotes about gratitude and positivity. Every night he'd journal about his wins and visualize his goals. He meditated, he affirmed, he manifested. And yet, lying in bed at 3 a.m, staring at the ceiling, he felt nothing. Not happiness, not satisfaction, just a hollow, aching emptiness that no amount of achievement could fill. Sound familiar? Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. The relentless pursuit of happiness, the obsession with feeling good, the endless chase for that next high. It's not bringing us closer to fulfillment. It's destroying us from the inside out. We live in the most comfortable era in human history. We have technology that would make ancient emperors weep with envy. We have medicine that cures diseases that once wiped out entire populations. We have food, shelter, entertainment at our fingertips 24/7. And yet, rates of anxiety, depression, and existential dread have never been higher. Something is deeply, fundamentally wrong. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, wrote in his private journal that the pursuit of pleasure leads to slavery, not freedom. Seneca warned that those who chase happiness end up more miserable than those who never sought it at all. And Epictetus, a man who spent most of his life as a slave, discovered a peace that free men with unlimited resources could never find. They knew something we've forgotten, something that modern psychology is only now beginning to rediscover. The more you chase happiness, the further it runs from you. This isn't philosophy. This isn't theory. This is documented, researched, proven fact. And understanding why might be the most important thing you learn this year. Let's start with the research, because the data is absolutely damning. Scientists at the University of California conducted a series of studies on people who highly valued happiness. These were folks who agreed with statements like, "To have a meaningful life, I need to feel happy most of the time," and "Feeling happy is extremely important to me." You'd think these people would be the happiest, right? They're focused on it. They're prioritizing it. They're making it their goal. Wrong. They reported worse overall well-being, more depressive symptoms, a lower ratio of positive to negative emotions. The harder they chased happiness, the more it eluded them. But it gets worse. Researchers at the University of Toronto discovered that people pursuing happiness feel like they don't have enough time in the day. They conducted 4 separate studies, and the pattern was consistent. The pursuit of happiness created a perception of time scarcity. And you know what time scarcity does to human beings? It makes us stressed, anxious, rushed, unhappy. Think about that for a second. The very act of trying to be happy makes you feel like happiness is slipping through your fingers. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it drains away. This phenomenon has a name in psychology. It's called the hedonic treadmill. No matter how hard you run, no matter how fast you go, you stay in exactly the same place. You get the promotion, you feel amazing for a week, maybe 2. Then you adapt. The new baseline becomes normal. So you need the next thing, the bigger house, the better car, the hotter partner. And the cycle continues, endlessly until you die having never actually arrived at happiness. Studies on lottery winners prove this. People who win millions of dollars experience a temporary spike in happiness. Then within a year, they're back to baseline. Sometimes worse, because now they've lost the hope that money could solve their problems. It didn't. Nothing external ever does. But here's where it gets truly insidious. Recent research published in 2025 shows that the pursuit of happiness actually depletes your self-control. Think about that. Every time you try to make yourself happier, you're draining the same mental resources you need to make good decisions, resist temptations, and regulate your behavior. Researchers ran an experiment where they showed people advertisements with the word happiness in them, which unconsciously triggered happiness-seeking behavior. Then they put a bowl of chocolates in front of them. The people who were primed to seek happiness ate significantly more chocolates than the control group. Their self-control had been depleted. They'd used up their willpower trying to manage their emotional state. This is the trap. Modern culture tells you happiness should be your primary goal. Social media bombards you with images of people living their best lives. Self-help gurus promise you can manifest your dreams. Motivational content screams at you to stay positive, think positive, be positive. And every single message is slowly suffocating your soul. Because here's what nobody tells you. Happiness was never meant to be pursued directly. It was meant to be a side effect, a byproduct, something that emerges naturally when you're living correctly. Not chasing it, not forcing it, not making it your goal. The ancient Stoics understood this at a level we're only now beginning to grasp. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about happiness in his meditations. He wrote about virtue, about duty, about doing what is right regardless of how it feels. Seneca didn't teach his students to seek pleasure. He taught them to seek wisdom and let contentment follow. Epictetus didn't tell people to manifest their dreams. He told them to control what they can control and accept what they cannot. The Stoics had a completely different framework for human flourishing. They called it eudaimonia, not happiness, in the sense of feeling good, but flourishing, living well, achieving your potential as a human being. The difference is everything. Hedonic happiness, the kind we chase today, is about feeling pleasure and avoiding pain. It's transient, temporary, always fading. You eat amazing food, you feel good for an hour. You have sex, you feel good for a few minutes. You buy something new, you feel excited until it arrives. Then the excitement dies. This is why the hedonic treadmill exists. You're chasing a feeling that by its very nature cannot last. Eudaimonia is different. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about how you're living across time. Are you developing your character? Are you contributing something meaningful? Are you becoming the kind of person you respect? The Stoics believed that virtue, excellence of character, was the only thing that could never be taken from you. Everything else, wealth, health, reputation, relationships, could be lost in an instant. But your character, your integrity, your courage, your wisdom, those belong to you alone. And this is where true peace resides. Not in having everything go your way, but in responding to whatever happens with strength and grace. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. He had everything any human could want: power, wealth, status. Yet he wrote constantly about the emptiness of external things. He knew that none of it mattered compared to his internal state. He knew that a slave with wisdom was freer than an emperor enslaved by his desires. This is the Stoic secret. Stop chasing happiness. Start building character. Stop pursuing pleasure. Start pursuing meaning. Stop trying to control your feelings. Start controlling your actions. Do this, and happiness will find you. Not because you earned it, not because you manifested it, but because you became the kind of person for whom happiness is a natural state. You know what the crazy thing is? Modern psychology has proven this. A man who survived the worst hell humanity has ever created proved it with his life. And yet, we still don't listen. Viktor Frankl was an Austrian psychiatrist who was deported to Nazi concentration camps in 1942. His parents, his brother, his wife, all murdered. He spent 3 years in Auschwitz, Dachau, and other death camps, where every day brought new horrors that would break most human beings permanently. And yet, in that hell, Frankl made a discovery that would revolutionize psychology. He noticed that the people who survived weren't necessarily the strongest or the healthiest. They were the ones who had something to live for, a purpose beyond themselves, a meaning that transcended their suffering. He watched men give up and die within days because they'd lost hope. And he watched other men, physically weaker, survive against all odds because they had a reason to wake up each morning. Maybe they wanted to see their children again. Maybe they had a book they needed to write. Maybe they felt a responsibility to bear witness to what happened. Whatever it was, it gave them something more powerful than the will to be happy. It gave them the will to meaning. After the war, Frankl developed logotherapy, a school of psychology based on this insight. He wrote one of the most important sentences in 20th century thought. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue, and it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself. Read that again. Happiness cannot be pursued. It can only ensue. It emerges as a byproduct of living meaningfully, not as a goal in itself. This wasn't just philosophy for Frankl. This was survival. This was truth forged in the absolute worst conditions human beings have ever created. If it worked in Auschwitz, it works anywhere. Frankl identified 3 pathways to meaning: through creative work and achievement, through experiencing love, beauty, and connection, and through the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. That third one is critical, because suffering is inevitable, loss is inevitable, pain is inevitable. The pursuit of happiness teaches you to avoid these things, to run from them, to numb them with pleasure and distraction. Frankl teaches you to find meaning in them, to transform them, to use them as the forge in which your character is tempered. A man who has a why to live can bear almost any how. That's Nietzsche, but Frankl lived it. When you have meaning, when you have purpose, happiness becomes irrelevant, not because you're miserable, but because you're engaged in something deeper than the shallow pursuit of feeling good. You're building something, contributing something, becoming something. And in that process, you experience a fulfillment that pleasure-seeking could never provide. Modern research validates this completely. Studies show that eudaimonic well-being, meaning based flourishing, is far more stable and lasting than hedonic happiness. People who pursue meaning report higher life satisfaction, better mental health, greater resilience to stress, and yes, more frequent positive emotions. Not because they chase those emotions, but because meaningful living naturally produces them. This is the paradox that destroys the happiness industry. The less you focus on being happy, the happier you become. The more you focus on being happy, the more miserable you make yourself. But if you think that's counterintuitive, wait until you understand what's happening in your brain when you chase happiness. The neuroscience will blow your mind. Your brain wasn't designed for constant happiness. Evolution doesn't care if you feel good. It cares if you survive and reproduce. Emotions exist to motivate behavior. Fear keeps you away from danger. Anger prepares you to fight threats. Sadness signals loss and makes you cautious. Joy rewards you for beneficial actions. All of these emotions are information, data your brain uses to navigate reality. When you make happiness your goal, you're essentially trying to hack the system. You're trying to feel the reward without doing the thing that earns the reward. And your brain knows. It resists. Here's what the research shows. When you consciously try to make yourself happier, you activate the same neural networks involved in self-regulation and cognitive control. These networks require mental energy. They draw from a limited pool of resources that you also need for discipline, decision-making, and impulse control. Scientists demonstrated this with a clever experiment. They had people make choices between everyday items, like coffee versus tea. One group was told to choose whatever would make them happiest. Another group was told to just choose based on preference. Afterward, both groups were given difficult mental tasks that required self-control. The happiness-seeking group quit earlier. They had fewer mental resources left. The constant effort of evaluating which choice would maximize their happiness had drained them. Now think about modern life. You're bombarded with choices all day long. What to eat, what to wear, what to watch, what to buy, what to do. And underlying all of it is this pressure. Which option will make me happier? You're depleting your self-control with every decision. By the time you face a real challenge, something that requires willpower and discipline, you're running on empty. This is why people who obsess over happiness often make terrible life choices. They don't have the resources left to resist short-term temptations. They eat poorly. They waste money. They skip workouts. They avoid difficult conversations. All because they've exhausted themselves trying to feel good. But there's another mechanism at play, and it's even more destructive. It's called hedonic adaptation. And it's the reason lottery winners return to baseline happiness. Your brain has a happiness set point, a default level of well-being that you return to after any positive or negative event. You can spike above it temporarily. You can drop below it temporarily. But your brain always pulls you back to the middle. Why? Because if you stayed permanently happy, you'd stop seeking improvement. You'd become complacent. You'd stop striving. Evolution doesn't want you satisfied. It wants you hungry. The hedonic treadmill isn't a bug. It's a feature. Your brain is designed to adapt to good things, so you keep pursuing better things. The problem is, we live in a world where we can pursue endless novelty and stimulation. New purchases, new experiences, new relationships, new content. Your brain keeps adapting. You keep needing more. The baseline never shifts. And here's the kicker. The more you focus on tracking your happiness, the more you monitor how you feel, the worse you feel. Scientists call this the observation effect. When you're constantly asking yourself, am I happy? Am I feeling good? Is this making me happy? You're pulling yourself out of the experience. You're creating distance between yourself and the moment. Happiness, real happiness, exists in flow states, in moments where you're so absorbed in what you're doing that you forget to monitor yourself. Athletes feel this. Artists feel this. People deeply engaged in meaningful work feel this. But you cannot force it. The moment you try to grab it, it vanishes. The moment you start thinking, wow, I'm so happy right now, you're no longer happy. You're thinking about being happy. There's a layer of self-consciousness that kills the genuine experience. So what do? Stop trying? Give up on happiness entirely? No. We redirect. We aim at something else. Something that produces happiness as a side effect. But first, you need to understand something else that's killing you. Something that's everywhere in modern culture, masquerading as positivity, but actually functioning as poison. Good vibes only. Stay positive. Everything happens for a reason. Just be grateful. Think happy thoughts. You've heard these phrases 1,000 times. They seem harmless, encouraging even, but they're not. They're toxic. This is what psychologists call toxic positivity. The excessive and unrealistic expectation that you should maintain a positive outlook no matter what's happening in your life. It's the pressure to suppress negative emotions and put on a happy face even when you're drowning inside. And it's absolutely destroying people's mental health. Here's why. Emotions are not good or bad. They're signals. Sadness tells you something matters. Anger tells you a boundary was crossed. Fear tells you to be careful. Anxiety tells you to prepare. These emotions are valuable. They contain information. When you suppress them, when you invalidate them, when you tell yourself or others to just stay positive, you're cutting off your access to critical data about your internal state and your environment. Research shows that people who habitually avoid negative emotions suffer more in the long run. They have higher rates of depression and anxiety. They struggle with relationships. They make poor decisions. Because they're not processing reality, they're covering it up with forced positivity. Studies on emotional acceptance reveal something powerful. People who acknowledge their negative emotions without judgment actually experience less emotional distress over time. They're not dwelling on the negative. They're not wallowing. They're simply allowing themselves to feel what they feel, gathering the information, and moving forward. This is emotional maturity. This is what Stoicism teaches. Not to suppress your feelings, but to observe them without being controlled by them. To say, I notice I'm feeling angry, instead of I am angry. To create space between the emotion and your identity. But toxic positivity doesn't allow that space. It says your negative emotions are wrong, unacceptable, something to be fixed immediately with gratitude journals and positive affirmations. The result? People feel shame about feeling bad. They feel guilty for being sad. They feel like failures for experiencing normal human emotions. This is especially destructive for men. You're already socialized to suppress emotions, to tough it out, to never show weakness. Add toxic positivity on top of that, and you have an entire gender walking around emotionally constipated, unable to process grief, unable to express vulnerability, unable to connect authentically with others. You bottle it up. You push it down. You tell yourself to man up and stay positive, until one day it explodes. Or worse, it implodes. You collapse inward into depression, addiction, isolation, because you never learned that sadness is not weakness, that fear is not cowardice, that anger is not evil. They're just emotions, data, information, tools. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote about feeling frustrated, angry, disappointed. He didn't pretend those feelings didn't exist. He acknowledged them, examined why they arose, and chose how to respond. That's emotional intelligence. That's strength, not the fake positivity that modern culture demands. And here's the thing about toxic positivity. It doesn't just hurt you. It destroys your relationships. When someone comes to you with real pain, real struggle, real suffering, and you respond with everything happens for a reason, or at least you have your health, or just look on the bright side, you're not helping. You're invalidating. You're telling them their feelings don't matter. You're shutting down vulnerability instead of creating space for it. Authentic connection requires authenticity. You can't build real relationships on a foundation of forced smiles and good vibes only. You build them by being real, by saying, this is hard, and that's okay. By acknowledging that life contains suffering alongside joy. By embracing the full spectrum of human experience, instead of pretending half of it doesn't exist. So no, the answer is not to chase happiness. And it's definitely not to force positivity. The answer is something completely different. Something the Stoics taught. Something modern psychology now confirms. Something that actually works. Here's what you do instead. You stop making happiness the target. You aim at something else. Something deeper. Something that produces well-being as a natural consequence. First, find meaning. Not pleasure, not comfort. Meaning. What matters to you? What cause is bigger than yourself? What legacy do you want to leave? For some men, it's building something. A business, a skill, a body of work. For others, it's family. Being the father you never had. Raising kids who will make the world better. For others, it's service. Contributing to your community. Helping people who need it. Solving problems that matter. There's no right answer. The meaning you find is yours alone. But without it, happiness is impossible. Because happiness without meaning is just pleasure. And pleasure fades, meaning endures. Second, focus on virtue, character, excellence. Are you becoming the kind of man you respect? Are you honest when it's hard? Are you disciplined when you don't feel like it? Are you kind when you're tired? Are you brave when you're afraid? The Stoics identified 4 cardinal virtues. Wisdom, the ability to see clearly and judge well. Justice, treating others fairly and contributing to society. Courage, facing fear and adversity with strength. Temperance, exercising self-control and moderation. Build these, not because they make you happy, but because they make you worthy of happiness. Third, embrace difficulty. Stop running from hard things. Your comfort zone is killing you. Growth happens in discomfort. Strength comes from resistance. Resilience emerges from adversity. The Stoics practiced something called negative visualization. They would imagine losing everything they had. Not to be pessimistic, but to appreciate what they have and prepare mentally for loss. They would voluntarily embrace discomfort. Cold baths, simple food, physical challenges. Why? Because it makes you anti-fragile. Things that are fragile break under stress. Things that are robust withstand stress. Things that are anti-fragile grow stronger from stress. You don't become happy by avoiding pain. You become happy by becoming the kind of person who can handle pain. Fourth, shift from hedonic to eudaimonic activities. Hedonic activities feel good in the moment but don't build anything. Scrolling social media, binge-watching shows, eating junk food, shopping for things you don't need. Eudaimonic activities might not feel amazing while you're doing them, but they build well-being over time. Exercise, learning new skills, deep work, meaningful conversation, creating something, serving others. Your brain rewards you differently for these 2 types of activities. Hedonic activities give you a quick dopamine spike that fades immediately. Eudaimonic activities build lasting satisfaction, confidence, and fulfillment. Fifth, practice gratitude, but not toxic positivity. There's a difference. Gratitude is acknowledging what's good while accepting what's difficult. I'm grateful for my health, and I'm also struggling with this challenge. Both can be true simultaneously. Toxic positivity is pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's rejecting half of reality. Gratitude embraces all of reality while appreciating the good parts. Research shows that people who keep gratitude journals experience higher well-being. Not because they're faking positivity, but because they're training their attention to notice good things they might otherwise overlook. Sixth, build through action, not feeling. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting to feel confident. Stop waiting to feel happy. You will never feel like doing hard things. You do them anyway. Action creates feeling, not the other way around. You don't exercise because you feel energetic. You feel energetic because you exercised. You don't write because you feel inspired. You feel inspired because you wrote. You don't talk to people because you feel confident. You feel confident because you talk to people. The Stoics were obsessed with action. They didn't sit around philosophizing about the good life. They practiced it, daily, in small ways, every moment. Seventh, serve others. One of the most consistent findings in positive psychology is that helping other people makes you happier than helping yourself. Acts of service, generosity, contribution. These produce lasting well-being in a way that selfish pleasure-seeking never can. Why? Because human beings are social creatures. We evolved in tribes where cooperation and reciprocity determine survival. Your brain rewards you for contributing to the group because that made you valuable and protected. When you only focus on yourself, you're fighting against millions of years of evolution. You might get temporary pleasure, but you'll never feel truly fulfilled. Finally, reframe suffering, not as something to avoid at all costs, but as the necessary ingredient in growth. Every skill you've mastered required struggle. Every relationship you value has survived conflict. Every achievement you're proud of demanded sacrifice. Suffering is not the enemy of happiness. Meaningless suffering is. When your pain serves a purpose, when it's building something, teaching you something, transforming you into something better, it becomes bearable. Sometimes even beautiful. The Stoics didn't seek suffering, but they didn't run from it either. They understood that the obstacle is the way. The thing blocking your path is the path. The challenge you're avoiding is the very thing you need to face to become who you're capable of being. So here's what it comes down to. Everything you've been taught about happiness is backwards. The motivational quotes, the self-help gurus, the social media influencers with their morning routines and manifestation rituals. They're all selling you the same lie. That happiness is something you chase, something you achieve, something you earn through the right combination of positive thinking and perfect circumstances. It's not. Happiness is what happens when you stop chasing it. When you redirect your energy toward meaning, virtue, growth, contribution. When you embrace the full spectrum of human experience instead of grasping at pleasure and running from pain. When you become the kind of person for whom happiness is a natural state. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're living in alignment with what matters. The Stoics knew this. Frankl proved it. Modern psychology confirms it. And now you know it too. So what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to keep running on the hedonic treadmill, chasing the next dopamine hit, wondering why you never feel satisfied? Or are you going to get off the treadmill entirely and start building something real? Stop trying to be happy. Start trying to be good, to be useful, to be strong, to be wise. Do that and happiness will find you. Not as a destination, but as a companion on the journey. Not as something you grasp, but as something that walks beside you when you're moving in the right direction. This isn't easy. Nobody said it would be. But it's real, and real is what you need. If this resonated with you, if this challenged something you believed or confirmed something you suspected, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, because we're going to keep diving into this ancient wisdom that modern life desperately needs. We're going to keep cutting through the lies and getting to the truth. Next time, we're talking about why most men are living half asleep and how to wake up. Until then, stop chasing happiness. Start building character. The rest will follow.